So Moon Knight is finally here. Super excited to talk about this show because I'm a fan of the character. Read his comic book running a couple years ago, and now they're using that one that I read for the basis of this show. The show is starring Oscar Isaac. He is playing Stephen Grant, a disgruntled mid-30s to 40s year old that lives in London, and he works in a gift shop at a museum about Egyptian artifacts. And he's very, very interested in this stuff. He's very nerdy about it. But the thing about Steven, he's losing time. He's losing aspects of his life, and he knows it because he's tied up to his own bed when he wakes up in the morning because he thinks he's sleepwalking, and he's trying to figure out what's going on while still trying to live a normal life. We see things like him not getting sleep because he's going out at night, so when he's riding the bus home, he's falling asleep and laying his shoulder on someone, and I can relate to that as someone in my 30s and getting real tired these days. So that was super relatable right away. He's super sincere, very nice. He's just losing different aspects of his day. He's trying to figure it out. It's a really crazy look at how people go through psychosis. And as this keeps going on, and the show is trippy because it seems like it's a psychological thriller in the Marvel Universe. We see him wake up in different places, and then when things get crazy, he kind of fades out, and then when he comes back in, there are things that he did that he doesn't understand how he even got there. And within this 45-50 minute run time, the one times he wakes up, he's in a whole nother country. And he starts getting attacked by these foreigners with guns. He doesn't understand what's going on. He starts hearing voices in his head, and it gets really chaotic and crazy. And he runs into this cult leader being played by Ethan Hawke, who looks like he is a avatar or a servant to an Egyptian god named Armin. And they explain in the show that Armin is the god that judges people before they commit crimes. So that's kind of the whole cult's idea. And apparently Stephen Grant has something that they want, even though he doesn't even know how he got it. So we go on this crazy chase sequence that you saw in the trailers. If you watched the trailers before you watched this, it's just a bunch of hijinks up until we get to the end, where we get to a really cool reveal of Moon Knight. So I'm going to start with what I like about this show. I'm talking about the good. So first off, this is Oscar Isaac. Being Oscar Isaac, I'm a big fan of him. He does a great job being Stephen Grant, being this lovable, dorky guy that's into Egyptian stuff. You can tell he reads a lot, and he's very lonely. You can tell that he's alone. He doesn't have a lot of people. He could always calling his mother, and she's not picking up. He's always have to leave voicemails, and the way they illustrate or show how he's going through this psychosis, and waking up at the night, not realizing he's up and chaining himself to the bed, all the precautions so he knows what's going on. It's pretty crazy, and it's scary to think about how people in real life may go through this on a similar level, but they're not seeing Egyptian gods and stuff like that and getting cool superpowers. They're just going through it frantically. So I thought that was a great aspect of the way he was acting, and how he just killed it so far in this episode in terms of being Stephen Grant and being a lovable character, but then also switching into what his other personality is Mark Spector, which we didn't get a lot. That's the famous version of Moon Knight. We didn't get a lot of him in this episode. We got little tidbits in here. They're kind of keeping it a mystery just the first episode, but I thought it was a strong start. Ethan Hawke, I liked him as well. He looks like a cult leader the way they have him to get up. As soon as I saw him, and the episode starts with him in a very weird and creepy way. There's a lot of weirdness in this show, more than any other Marvel product that we've gotten in the MCU so far. So it gives it a little bit of a different flavor than what we usually have. And Ethan Hawke's character starts off the show super weird, and his movements and the way he's controlling the cult is a weird feeling as well. But he's doing a good job. And it's this weird thing where you can tell he's the antagonist of the show, but he doesn't feel evil. He feels like he's just serving a purpose that he thinks is the right thing to do, which is interesting. It's different from Thanos, where like Thanos was serving a purpose that he thinks is the right thing to do, but you can still see there was like a little bit of evil aggression inside of him. Ethan Hawke's character doesn't seem like that at all. And the visuals, the soundtrack of the show, the action is all choreographed really well, sounds really good, and I think this is the best looking of the MCU show so far. It's closest to how it looks like to a movie, and it feels like a first part of a movie that we're getting here. So I really like the visual aspects of the show and how it looks. Now let's talk about the bad. Only thing I could say that I didn't like in this first episode so far is just the VFX for the Egyptian gods that we got to see, and the rabid dog that we kind of saw in the trailers that attacked Steven within the episode. I thought that it didn't look great. I wish it could have looked a little bit better. That felt like TV budget to me compared to how everything else looks a little bit better than a TV budget. And here's my verdict. I think that this episode 1 of Moon Knight, was a very strong start for this series. I really am attached to Stephen Grant's character. I'm really excited to see all the different versions of Moon Knight we're going to get throughout these 6 episodes that we're going to get, and more of him in the suit, and more of the action, and more what's going on with Ethan Hawke, and how this story is going to progress. Because, there's not a lot of Moon Knight fans here, so I could tell that they're taking some liberties with the source material and also starting at a different point than the comics does. But I'm excited to see how they keep the spirit of the character. But let me know what you guys think down below of the first episode of Moon Knight if you saw it. Hit the like button if you like my hit the subscribe button, it helps the channel. Hit the notification bell. I'm not going to review every episode of Moon Knight individually. I just wanted to get this first episode out, so if anybody was curious of what was going on, you guys can see. So hit the notification bell. I'm going to do a full season review when all 6 episodes are out, and you can watch more right now.